I have done like 30, probably close to 40 takes of this video at this point, and it's so hard because every single time I devolve into a rant about why I hate the webcam industry so much. We will avoid that today. Today, instead, I am just going to show you objective comparisons that illustrate why I do not recommend the Logitech C920 or the C922X. Before I do, though, I want to give a brief background on the camera. And the reason I say camera is because the C922X and C920 are basically the same camera. The only real difference is that the C922X can shoot at 720p 60 frames per second, whereas the C920 only has 30 frames per second across the board. Otherwise, they're basically the same, being able to shoot at 1080p 30 frames per second, or a variety of other interesting resolutions that you could choose if you wanted to. It actually goes over 1080p. Interesting fun fact that people that don't have one might not know. Anyway, this camera is recommended very widely, pretty much for if you're a live streamer or if you're just someone who wants to do video conferences and you need a camera. You've probably been recommended the C922X or the C920 because generally speaking, it's the sweet spot. For $100, you get a camera that is okay. If you spend less than $100, usually you get a really bad camera. And if you spend more than $100 and get something else, usually it's not substantially better. It's just slightly better and not really worth the extra premium you pay. So that's kind of why this camera is so widely recommended. So now I'm going to get into some comparisons and show you the differences between the C922X that I currently have on hand and the alternative that I am proposing that you consider. Before I do, I have a third camera, and that is the camera I'm currently shooting on. This is a Sony A6300 going into a Elgato CamLink 4K. I do not expect anybody watching this video to be planning on looking at this as an option because it is very expensive. The entire purpose is to show you there is a lot more quality that you get when you get a setup like this. Like, the detail is very nice, and the whole point is to illustrate what good looks like. Because when we go into webcam territory, things stop looking good. But anyway, this is what good looks like. You get very vibrant colors. You can't see my shirt there. You can see it now. There's some pop in the colors. They look nice. They look natural. It looks normal. And you could see like a lot of detail on my face. For better, for worse. I guess today we'll argue it's for worse. But you get a lot of detail in the image. So now, let's switch to our first contender. The Logitech C922X. Oh, I'm sorry. C922X Pro. Because the first thing that you could see when you look at this camera is it really lives up to the Pro naming. There's like this really nice cutout around my skin tones that make me pop from my background more. My face looks like it has been covered in makeup and you could no longer see my pores, so that's better. And then my eyebrows are a lovely pastel. They look as if they've been drawn onto my face. It does not look like hair anymore, which is great because some people don't like hair. Obviously, I'm messing around because this looks absolutely atrocious. Now, I will be completely transparent. This could look worse because out of box, the auto white balance makes everything blue. But I turned that off and I set the white balance manually. I actually did not listen to the Kelvin rating on the white balance. I set it to where it looked the best because 4000K for the white balance on this camera is not matching my 4000K lights. So yeah, it could look worse is my point. But this is the Logitech C922X running at 1080p. This is not 720p. This is 1080p, 30 FPS. And I have optimized all the other settings to produce the best possible quality that I could get out of this camera. So this is contender number one. This is what people consider as the industry standard for a decent webcam. And I would like to encourage people to, instead of just taking this at face value as the best camera you could get and use as a webcam, to think outside the box. What if, instead of buying a webcam, we were to look at other options? Let's say we wanted to DIY a webcam and get a microscope camera and a 6mm CCTV lens and a $15 capture card and combine those together to make a Frankenstein webcam. What kind of quality would we get out of that? And how much would it cost? Well, I have an answer for you today. It looks like this, which is crazy because this doesn't look like a webcam. This looks like, it actually honestly looks kind of like a point and shoot camera that has been used as webcam, which kind of makes sense because I did not buy a webcam. For some reason, it's just acceptable in the industry for webcams to be trash, despite the fact that there are better cameras out there. I'll stop my rant there. I won't go deeper into it. I'll do a little bit of a call to action at the end of this video, but I won't go on a huge rant. Suffice it to say, this looks way better. And this setup, sure, it's like 3 pieces. Technically, you could cut it down to 2 because the camera itself, the body itself, has USB and you can plug it in directly. The reason I've opted not to do that is because it has a little bit more latency. You can see there's a small delay between when I talk and when you see my mouth move. That increases a little bit if you connect directly over USB. Also, one thing to keep in mind is if you connect directly over USB, you get, interestingly, slightly worse detail. It looks a little bit softer of an image than if you use a secondary $15 capture card. So if you haven't seen my video on the capture card already, I actually have a video that talks about why this capture card is such an amazing deal and you should consider getting one in the first place. This is our setup. How much does it cost? I'm sure everyone's dying to know. Well, if you haven't gone down and added up the price of the parts already, it's $110. And that's assuming you're getting the capture card for $10 because I know it can be had for $10 because I bought mine for $9. So if you get off Amazon, it's maybe like 15 or 20, but otherwise you could get this set up for $100 plus the cost of the capture card, whatever that ends up being. Okay. That is exactly the same as the MSRP of the C922X/C20. C920. Ugh. Model numbers. Too many of them. Need to stop with them. Anyway, this is our starting point. Now, the C922X Pro that I showed you before and this microscope camera setup currently have no post-processing applied to them. I'm going to very quickly apply a light sharpen filter and then a little bit of color correction. Well, actually, it's some heavy color correction. What I mean by a little bit is I didn't go super gung-ho with dialing it in. I just kind of slapped on a little bit of a contrast increase and a saturation increase. That's basically what it was. So you should be able to replicate this similar thing at home with very little effort. And to be fair, we'll do the same for the C922X Pro. So what we're going to do is we're going to slap on our sharpen, which does significantly less. It kind of just makes things look aggressive and harsh. It doesn't feel like it adds detail. And then we'll add some color correction. Well, at least my skin looks more like skin. That's a plus. But like, there's so little detail in the darks. Let's jump back here. Just give some perspective as to how much of a difference there is in terms of the color. Like, that's just astounding how fake and pastel this looks and how like you're really trying to polish a turd, as they say. Whereas the microscope camera is actually, it's a good enough foundation to where when you add sharpening, when you add this color correction, then you could actually get a decent look from it. It actually looks like it's worth $100. So that's pretty much all what I wanted to show. I think there's only one other thing I wanted to illustrate. You see the motion blur looks kind of natural on this one. Whereas if I go to the C922X Pro, it starts to get more mushy. And that's just because this camera is not optimizing the shutter speed for the frame rate that it's recording at. It's optimizing the shutter speed to try to get enough light in so that I can see something, because this is such a old sensor, really. This was released in 2012 for an MSRP of $100. It still rides around that price. Sometimes it goes on sale for less, but it's kind of been this price, and it's been 8-year-old tech for a while now. And that's why fundamentally you just won't get good image quality out of this. And I don't blame people for recommending this just because there's not really better webcams. But I did want people to know, if you think outside the box, sometimes you could find better options. And I do want to say one more really strong factor in terms of the quality of this camera that I'm using right here. Let's say we didn't like how bright it was out of the out of the box. So let me just, where's the buttons? I really should have pulled out the remote because there's a wireless remote for this too. Let's say I wanted to change the exposure. And it's on auto mode, which means it changes as I point at lighter or darker things. So it'll vary a little bit, but I could also set kind of like a baseline offset. So let's increase this a little bit to like, we'll say 12. So it's just a little bit brighter to kind of give us a brighter starting point. Now, as I settle back into position, there's less overexposed spots. At this point, we're kind of getting to the point where it's overexposed, but it's just to illustrate, oh, did you see all the settings on there? This camera has a lot of settings. Sure, the C920 has settings as well, but this has like onboard settings that you don't have to fiddle with every single time you want to like connect to your video conference. Because one of the things I found with the C920 and C922X is there are many times that I had to reset the options so that they looked like what I wanted them to look like. But like if I'm mad at the white balance, I could change the white balance. Oh, and I hit the wrong button. So I could use the white balance correction here. I could set the mode to just automatic if I wanted to. And it would try its best to guess what the white balance should be. But I'm just going to leave that at manual because I have it kind of roughly where I wanted. And then I could change the built-in sharpness. I've bumped this up a little bit. You could turn it down. It's up to you. But there's a whole bunch of options that you could change, and it's built into the camera. Also, crazy fun thing, you could put different lenses on this camera. If you wanted to mount it far on your wall and then get like a different lens that like zooms in more so you could get more of that depth of field or a better quality lens, or if you wanted to use this as a microscope, you could get microscope lenses. Or you could, it also has an SD card in it. You could actually record video and photos directly to this camera. It does a lot for a total of $100, including the lens. And it's just so much more competitive. To be completely transparent, not everything's perfect. The one drawback this setup has is it is manual focus. Keep that in mind. So if you go back into my background and you look at some of the things in the back, they will be out of focus. If I move out of frame, I will be out of focus and I'll have to refocus. But I assume that most people using a dedicated webcam are not moving out of the focus range that often. They're just kind of set up for their current location and they're good with that. So if that's you, then you probably are going to be fine with manual focus after you get it dialed in. But if autofocus is important to you, that is something to keep in mind. You lose that ability when you do a manual setup like this where you have a dedicated lens. Okay, so now that I've shown you everything about these cameras, I want to end this with a call to action. You have seen what you get out of a $100 dedicated webcam. Its purpose is to connect to your computer and give you a video feed. It was $100 worth of that, in theory. But then if you look at these other options where you put together things that are not for that intended use case, you could get something way better for, honestly, the same price. And I don't think that's reasonable. And I don't think people should settle for webcams as they are now when you could have a smartphone for $130 that has better image quality than a webcam ever will. And I think that's just totally unreasonable. Actors like Logitech should step up their game, but I don't think they will unless we do this. You need to take this information that you have learned today and share it with as many people as you can. I don't necessarily want you to link my video all over the place. That is up to you. That's your decision. I just want you to take this information and say, hey, did you know instead of getting a C922X, you can get a microscope camera, put a lens on it, and for the same price, you'll get much better image. The more people that know this, the more people will have avoiding these webcams that are such poor quality. That will force companies like Logitech to invest money into making a better product that is actually modern, that is actually uses technology that is not 8 years old. The only reason Logitech is still selling this webcam for $100 is because there is no competition in this space that forces them to make a better product. It is up to you to spread this information to force there to be more competition in this space by resorting to these odd options just because there's literally no one out there that is willing to make a good webcam for $100. I would like to see a company prove me wrong, by all means. If you have something that is $100 and performs better than this camera setup, I would like to see it. I would totally like to see it. And I would make a video on it if you were able to do that. But honestly, I have not been able to find that. So that is my challenge to companies. That is my challenge to you. I want you to help force these companies to make a change. And the only way that we can do this is by not giving them money for something that is an unacceptable product. So that's all I have for today. I know I had a little bit of a rant at the end, but I wanted to put more of the information at the beginning so that people could skip the rant if they wanted to. But if you're here watching to the end, thank you. I appreciate it. Please share this information. Like I said, you don't have to link this video. It's up to you. I don't want this to be my publicity. I want this to be information that will help everybody. So that's all I have. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.